Happy Monday and welcome to Unleashing Happiness. I am your host, Cecilia Hendricks, and not really surprisingly, I am so super excited to be here. I have a few things that I want to talk about today, and of course, we're still tying it back to Neville Goddard's Your Faith is Your Fortune. I really want to demystify the woo-woo, right? Demystify these law of assumption and law of attraction principles and start teaching you how to apply them in your life day to day. This podcast will give you the actions that you can use absolutely today to transform your life. I really have no doubt about that. And I like to take the law of assumption principles, the understandings, and the way that you can use these principles to change your life, to make your life better, to use positive thinking, to really start practicing and rehearsing the way you want your life to go in your own mind, but combine it with actual scientific backed tools to make sure that you're doing it in a way that's not creating frustration for you. This should actually be a fun journey, not one full of frustration. And I find that a lot with so many people. And trust me, I was there myself. If you're looking for an actual guide that will take you from point A and walk you through to point Z to get started on this journey and truly start to make transformation in your life, I want to point you in the direction of a free email series that I have that is just recently launched. It's called 4 Weeks to Taking Back Your Life. And it's really designed to help you when you're feeling like you're stuck in these same old routines and you're just not making any progress. So you can actually break free from this. And there's a whole process that you can follow that starts you off with kind of identifying what your desire is. What is it that you actually want? What will that feel like? And what does this ideal life look like? And then each week you get about 2 to 3 emails that are completely action-packed, totally transformative, and open up your world and your ability to change and direct your thoughts, kind of rewire your mind, work on your habits, take a look at your mindset, and really open up a whole world of possibilities for you within this email series. So I'll leave a link down for that below. I would love for you to join. Oh, and I forgot to mention the best part. It's completely free. I want to help you start your life. I want you to be able to branch into your new chapter. And sometimes that can be frustrating. There's so much information online. And I even give so much information here, don't get me wrong. But sometimes trying to figure out how to piece it together into an actual process that's pragmatic, something you can follow, kind of a step-by-step guide, can be a bit overwhelming. So I put together this 4-week series. I think it's phenomenal. I'm getting great feedback on it. And I would love for you to be a part of it. So I will leave that down below. For today's episode, we're going to talk a lot about intention and persevering in those intentions that you have set and what the difference is kind of between an intention and a goal, which can be very similar. Don't get me wrong. We're kind of doing a tit for tat thing, but I want to explain it the way that I have used goal setting and intention setting within my own life for massive success. It is the best way to continually focus on the state that you're trying to obtain. So if you're new here, a state is like your identity. A state is where you dwell. It's the things that you believe. Your mind is designed to filter out anything that doesn't really align with that belief. And that's why we have, what's called like confirmation bias, where if suddenly you're buying a car and you start to notice that car everywhere around you, if you believe that you're a lucky person, you'll start to see the opportunities that are available to you. And the opposite can happen as well. If you believe that you're unlucky, nobody likes you, and you never have any opportunity that's provided to you, that's actually what you're going to start to receive in life, because that's what your brain is going to look for. It's going to actually block you from even being able to see the opportunity that's right in front of you. So each day, I want you to learn how to focus on your intentions and your goals, because in Neville Goddard's Your Faith is Your Fortune, chapter 13, he says one of my absolute favorite quotes. He says, "Take no thought of tomorrow. Tomorrow's expressions are determined by today's impressions." And so today is what you want to focus on. Stop worrying about your future. Become the person that you want to be right now, and your future will fall in line. And that's really kind of the way of looking at how to become present in this moment. Who are you right now? What goals are you working to obtain? And what are your intentions to match to those goals to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and that you have your eye on the prize for today, because tomorrow is going to reflect what you did today. This is where we step into goals and intention setting, right? So when you have a goal, I want you to think of something that you want in life. And I want you to focus on that. And you're like, okay, this is my desired outcome. This would be the goal. If I had a solution, this would be the solution. That's my goal. So your goal can be anything, right? It can be that you're going to obtain a certain PR at the gym. It can be that you're going to start making X amount of dollars, that you're going to get a job at a specific company, you're going to get into a school, whatever it is. You want to have that goal. And having a goal that you continually focus on, and every single day you bring your attention back to it and how it would feel to have that. And this is where we get into something that I call the what if theory. What if I was living this life? What if I was in the school of my dreams? What if I had the love of my life waking up to me every morning? What if I felt so desirable? And what if I felt so magnetic that every day was just phenomenal? What if I lived my absolute ideal life? What if, what if, what if? The more that you start to focus on what if, you're just opening the possibilities. You're just allowing your mind to start to even think about the possibility of this being available. And that's where we go back then to your confirmation bias. The more you think of the what if, the more you open to the possibilities, the more you focus on your goals and your intentions, and you come back to it over and over, you have no choice but to start to align to that life today, which means it will reflect for you very shortly in your future. I believe this is the bridge to what Neville Goddard was teaching. He was teaching you how to become the person that you want to be in this present moment, not through some forced belief, not through some technique that you have to do a certain sort of way. It was just learning how to become that person in your moment right now. It's a process. And the more that you set up an actual process for yourself, that you're looking at your intentions, that you're connecting yourself to your goal each and every day, the more that you are shifting your state into becoming this person that you want to be. Until eventually you wake up one day and you're like, oh, I am that person. I don't have to try anymore. It's here. I am this person. I worked my way through this process. I set a goal and I worked on my intentions every single day to align to that goal. And I want to tell you exactly how to do this. This podcast is truly designed for you to take my words, place it into your life, have the actions, get the transformation, and become this person that you want to be. I want to give you the actions that you can take today to be who you want to be. I want to make the law of assumption completely open to everyone, understandable. Take out the language that you don't understand. Stop making it overly complicated. It doesn't have to be a painful process. It should actually be really enjoyable. It should be something that you look forward to doing because you just feel good. And that doesn't mean that you'll never have frustration. It doesn't mean that you'll never have moments of being angry or sad or jealous or anything else that you deem as a quote unquote negative emotion. All that it means is that you have the ability to tap into your faith. I guess that's the best way to put it. You'll be able to tap into your faith to continue to see life as something that's happening for you instead of something that's happening to you. Part of the way of doing this is by impressing your own subconscious with the things that you want to experience. It's like a rehearsal in your mind. And what are you rehearsing? Are you rehearsing that everything's going to go wrong, or are you rehearsing that things really worked out well for you? I think that's such a great way of looking at it. And it really, again, it expands into the possibility that there's something else available to you. You are starting to rewire your mind the more that you allow yourself to dwell in the feelings that something worked out. So when you have a focused goal and then you set intentions towards that goal, and I'm going to explain this in a little bit more detail, the intention setting part here in just a moment. And then I also have a guide that you can purchase on my website. I will link that down below if you would like to purchase it. It's a PDF print. It's also available on Amazon, but it's a bit more expensive. You can just purchase it on my website and print it out. And it really guides you through saying, okay, here's what I want. Here's my goal. Here's my intentions, and every single day teaching you how to focus back on your intentions in the morning and in the evening. Because what this does for you is it consistently changes your mind and the wiring in your mind to focus on this goal. Right? So you're constantly putting yourself back into the feeling of being the person that you want to be. In Your Faith is Your Fortune, Neville says you can impress or record a message of love or a hymn of hate. It does not matter what the nature of the impression might be. Your I am will, without a murmur, willingly receive and sustain all impressions. So this is telling you no matter what you impress, that's what you're going to receive. It's going to continue. Your I am is like you, completely unconditioned. You have no conditions placed on yourself. You just are, right? You're just a being. I am. And then you start to place those conditions, and you can place those conditions with your repeated focus. So Neville has also said that you want to crowd out your consciousness of anything but your desired outcome. And by setting up this process of like repeatedly going back to your goal and setting intentions focused on that goal, that's exactly what you're doing. You're starting to crowd out your own consciousness. You're starting to learn how to shift your focus to what you actually want to be. And eventually this just crowds everything out until you are that person. So I want to give this as an example that hopefully will make it very clear of kind of what this process is. Let's say that you have a goal of becoming a published author, and you write this out and you say, okay, I want to be a published author by this time next year. And that is your goal. Then you take a look, a hard, honest look at who you are today. What are you doing with your daily habits and routines that align to being this person? And here's the thing. I know that when I talk to the Neville Goddard community, one thing they say is that you don't have to take any action. Now, I actually agree with that. I don't believe that you need to take any kind of forced action. But when you want to change, your behaviors and your habits are going to naturally change right along with that. And when you open up your mind to, okay, let's be honest. What do I do now that's aligned to being a published author? I haven't written a single word. I have no idea what the book's going to be about. I've never even actually thought about what I might write about. I just want to be a published author. Then you can ask yourself, okay, what would be my values? What would be the things that I would want to do if I were a published author? How would that feel to me? How would I behave? And you would think, well, maybe if I was a published author, I would write almost every day. Like 4 days a week, I would write at least a paragraph of my book. I know that if I was a published author, I would feel really proud of myself, and I would have a book in front of me that I could see that was by me, right? My name is on the cover. Okay, here we go. Suddenly you're starting to think of the cover. And then your mind is going to naturally start to fall into, okay, I think my book might be about dragons and fairies. That's something really popular. I like that. And I've got a great story idea about it. Now you're starting to shift to, oh, I got to get this out onto paper. So these are kind of the natural ways that as you shift, your state, your identity, where you dwell, your thoughts are shifting right along with you. Because as you start to think about being this person and what those values would be, you're going to have values and behaviors and just natural feelings of what you should do that will come up regardless because you want to be this person. And some of that's going to be based off of your beliefs. I have a belief that you can't be a published author unless you write a book. There's probably a lot of people listening to this that believe you have to have a book in order to be a published author. So that belief is not one that you're going to try to change, in my opinion. So you're going to start to think, okay, how do I get to this published book? What are my intentions? And the intentions that you could set is that you're going to align to the values that you said would be part of this ideal person. So those values might be that you're dedicated. So you could say, my intention for today is to be dedicated to becoming a published author. And then you allow that intention to play out. So then at the end of the day, when you're doing your 3 R's, which I'm going to go over those in case you have not heard this before, I highly recommend that you do the 3 R's every night before you go to bed. You can start them really at any time. I like to start mine about an hour and a half before I go to bed because I'm a lollygagger and it takes me some time to get stuff done. And if I don't start the first one, I tend to try to go to bed without washing my face, and I don't like when I do that. So the 3 R's are: 1, it is to refresh. The second is to renew. And the third is to reflect. So refresh is to do something for you. You can take a bath, take a shower, wash your face. It's a physical cleansing. You're actually doing a cleansing of yourself. So something you're doing for you and a cleansing. The renewal is a renewal of the mind, which means you can take a nice walk outside, which is fantastic for body and mind. You can do a meditation. You can work on something you're learning, like maybe you're wanting to learn a new language. That's a total renewal of the mind. You work on a puzzle, you read a book, anything that's renewal of the mind. And then the third is to reflect back on your day. And you're going to do this in a few different ways. When you have a goal and an intention and you have these values set, go back and ask yourself, did I align to that? Did I meet my intention today? If my intention is to become a published author and to be dedicated to being this published author, did I do anything aligned to that today? What can I do better tomorrow? What is a way that I could get better tomorrow to be more aligned to this ideal self that I want to be? And I always recommend to do a what if. So then think back, okay, I had a moment in time that I scrolled on my phone for 30 minutes instead of being dedicated to being a published author. What if I had instead written 2 chapters of my book? Or what if instead I had written 1 single paragraph of my book? Or what if instead I had done an outline of my book? And then imagine your day had you done that. I am telling you without fail, if you work on this stuff, you will start to find yourself, you won't even be able to stop yourself from aligning to being a published author. You will literally find yourself constantly coming up with ideas for your book, writing them out, coming up with an outline. It just naturally starts to happen. And I firmly believe that when Neville said you don't have to take action, this is what he meant. You literally will not be able to stop yourself from starting to align to that. And you just continue to go back to it every morning. What is my intention for today that will hit my goal? This is my goal. What is my intention for today? What are the values that I'm going to uphold? And I'm going to use another one that I actually get questions on quite a bit. So let's say that you are wanting a specific person in your life, you're seeking love. You're like, man, I really want love in my life and I want to figure out how to connect to this love. And you look at your daily habits and you're like, man, so I've got this guy that I've got a crush on and I go and I check his Instagram 12 times a day to the point that he's actually blocked me, right? And so I get up every morning. First thing I do is I try to go check his Instagram to see if I'm not blocked. If I am, I'm going to set up a fake account so that I can see his Instagram, see if he's dating somebody. This habit, these routines, this feeling, these thoughts. So a habit can be physical or mental, right? A routine can be a mental and emotional routine that you have got yourself kind of stuck in. And I say got yourself not as like a blaming, but it happens, right? And so when you take a look at this behavior cycle, you say, well, wait a minute, that does not align to me being loved and desired by said guy, right, that I've got a crush on. So what would say it? What would be my intention? And so your intention can be very, very simple. I'm going to wait 1 hour after waking up. I intend to wait 1 hour after waking up before I check his Instagram. And you just start very, very small. And then when you reflect tonight, ask yourself, how can I get better? Maybe instead I can wait 3 hours instead of 1 hour. Maybe I can go a full day without checking his Instagram. Maybe an intention is to provide myself with more self-love. Maybe an intention is to do some mirror work, telling myself that I love me and that I want to take care of me and that I deserve this kind of love in my life and that I will have love in my life because I'm giving it to myself and I'm going to continue to get better every single day. Naturally, your behaviors, if you view yourself as a loved, magnetic, beautiful person who just people enjoy being around, you enjoy yourself, you think you're funny, you're charismatic, you're beautiful, your behaviors are going to be different than somebody who spends a couple of hours a day trying to figure out how to see somebody else's Instagram posts. Right? And that can be a really, really hard thing to accept. And I understand that. And I know that if you're in that position, it is really small steps, which is why I suggest starting with that hour. Can I do an hour today? Can I have the intention that I will wait an hour before checking? Start very, very small. These small changes lead up to a new life. They really do. So again, if you want a process to get started on this, definitely sign up for my free email series, 4 weeks to taking back your life. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And then if you also want kind of a guide to walk you through the intention setting, the link is down there below as well. And from there, if you have any questions, if you're listening on YouTube, pop them into the comments. Got it. I can answer there. If you would prefer it not be public, or you're listening on a podcast hosting platform, you can always send me an email if you'd like to get a hold of me. It's unleashinghappiness@ceciliahendricks.com. And I hope that you have an absolutely beautiful week. I hope that you focus on your intentions, you focus on the goals that you have for yourself, and that you find this process really allows you to open up the possibilities of such beauty and remarkableness in your life, because I know that you can do this, and I know that you'll be happier and more fulfilled because you get started today. Have a beautiful, beautiful week.